Hi Libra, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and Libra, I want to start off by saying thank you if you've subscribed to my channel. Yellow Cardinal Tarot is about 9 months old, and I have reached a significant milestone this month, and I've reached 1,000 subscribers. So I'm very happy about that. And again, I want to say thank you. And in order to give back to you, I've decided to put on a really small contest, and I'm giving away 5 free readings. So you have a chance to win one of those readings. And I'll let you know somewhere in this reading what you have to do to sign up or to put your name in for to win this. So there'll be instructions there, and it's quite easy. You just have to answer one question. And so I'm going to pick the first 5 people that come in with the correct reading, the correct answer, and then I'll get back to you by email if you've won. Now, in today's reading, we're going to be doing the mid-month check-in for September 2024, and it's a general reading. And so we're going to start off by looking at what pattern, situation, issue, struggle, decision maybe that you have to make that's showing up for you this month, and you need some healing around it. And then in the second part of the reading, I'm going to be doing a little bit of shadow work. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive into your shadow to figure out what's going on, what's coming up for healing from your shadow, because that's what's going to have the biggest impact. And that's what's going to be driving the situation that you're sitting in right now. So if you're unfamiliar with those two terms, excuse me, shadow or shadow work, I've left a really good video in my description box below. And it's a video that I've done, I've put together myself from my other channel called Carol Cares. And this video is called My Powerful 4-Step Guide to Shadow Work. And it is all about facing your own shadow. And it really is what I do and what I've been doing for the last 7.5 years as I've been uncovering and healing from my own complex trauma. So I've been on this intensive shadow work journey to heal my stuff. So, which is why, you know, I've produced this channel for you. And then in the third part, I'm going to ask the tarot for some guidance as to how you can begin to heal this, that whatever's coming up from your shadow, your unconscious, because you know, this is a journey that we're on, our healing journey, and it's a process. And so the tarot's not going to give you a magical answer, but it will give you some steps to take, first steps to take in to heal this. And then what I'll also do is I'm going to attach your September 2024 reading at the end. And I'll also suggest a playlist for you or another video that is specific to your situation and your healing of it in this video, in this reading. And that video and playlist will be taken from my other channel, Carol Cares, as well. So I'm going to begin with pulling 3 cards for the 3 areas, and I'm going to do that from the Tarot Grand Luxe. And then I'm going to use the Rider-Waite to clarify after that. So I'm going to ask the tarot right now for what pattern, situation, issue, struggle, decision Libra is sitting with right now. Just 1 card, please, for that. And, oh, you have 2. I asked for 1, but that's all right. Sometimes we need to clarify. So you have the Empress. And right beside it, you have the 10 of Wands in reverse. The 10 of Wands in reverse. All right, so now let's ask the tarot again for 1 card for what's coming up from your shadow to heal. Whoa. And you have the wheel. So you have the, I'm blanking out on this, and the name of it is the Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, I know this, but they call it the wheel, and it just throws me. Yeah, you have the Wheel of Fortune here. Sometimes it helps. I'll look at the number and go 10. Okay, 10, 10, you know this one. So it's weird because I'll often blank out on this, or I'll say words that I meant one word and I'll say something else, and I'm known for that on these. So I apologize if I've said something and you're like, that's not the right word. It's just so okay, let's ask the tarot for guidance right now. Here you go. So you have the 5 of coins. I had to count how many. There it is. There's the V. I couldn't see the V at the top. The 5 of coins here. I haven't used this deck in a bit, so it's like, okay. That's my excuse. Anyway, I do want to say about this deck, Tarot Grand Lux. I love it because, I mean, I love the pictures of it, of course, but, you know, for me, shuffling is important. And if I'm struggling with the cards and they're, you know, they come out in 3 or 4 instead of they stick together, that's bothersome for me. But I really like this deck because they come out really easily. So good thing to know about the Tarot Grand Lux. Bit big, but they come out nicely. They shuffle really nice. All right, so let's ask for some clarifiers here. And luckily, this deck as well shuffles well. And I mean, it's one of those decks, I probably should buy another copy of it just to have around in case it goes out of print or something. But it's really important to find a deck that you can, you know, shuffles well. And like for me, I like my cards to pop out. I like to shuffle them and have them fall out of the deck rather than just turn them over. So we're going to have some clarifiers for the Empress, the 10 of Wands here in reverse. So 2 to 3 cards, please. So we got one here. A couple more cards would be good here. Yeah, I thought I had that. So. All right, so to clarify your Empress and 10 of Wands in reverse, you have the 5 of Cups. You have the Emperor card, and then you have the 4 of Swords. That was a card that came out for another reading, the 4 of Swords, and it's not one that I've seen in a while, and now it's coming out. Cards are funny like that, where, you know, you might have not have seen them for a long time, and then they show up in a reading. The Wheel. the Wheel of Life here. So, a few clarifiers for that, please. 2 to 3. The Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Life. Ooh, too many there. I think you have. Well, not too many. So you have this 7 of Pentacles. The in reverse. The Devil card in reverse. Oh, you do have a few more. Okay, 6 of Swords. I thought it was 4. Turns out it's going to be 5 here. The King of Swords in reverse. And the 2 of Swords in reverse. All right, so you got a little bit of a story in your shadow. And coins. So the 5 of Pentacles here. 2 to 3 cards, please, for clarification on that for Libra. Well, I thought one turned over. There. All right, so we have the Empress, the 8 of Swords, and you have the 10 of Wands. And it's the second time the 10 of Wands has come out in the deck. Very important, only because, I mean, if it's come out a couple times, I know it's different rows, but it's just the emphasis on that particular meaning of that card that's important. Then you get the 10 of Swords in reverse. So another 10 here. Yeah, so let's begin with what pattern, situation, issue, decision, struggle you're dealing with right now in your life. Well, you're starting off with the 3 of The Empress, what am I saying? The 3, which is the 3 of the major arcana. The Empress card in the major arcana is the second half of the feminine energy, the feminine aspect of ourself. We all have a feminine aspect and a masculine aspect of ourself. And the feminine aspect of ourself is, like I said, this is the second half. The first half is the number 2, which is the High Priestess. And she represents our intuition, our feminine quality that we all have. This particular Empress right here, she represents, she has everything to do with her emotions. She has everything to do with her body. She lives from her body. She lives from her emotions. She makes all decisions from her emotions here. And so it's starting off here, what decision what situation you're sitting in right now, where there's very much a emphasis for this reading, in particular where you're sitting right now, this issue that's coming up with you, because I'm going to say something in a second here, because so the universe is really pushing, really trying to get you back into your body, We have a tendency to, in general, to live from the masculine aspect of ourselves, which is to live from our head. But what people don't realize is that our head is not, our mind is not who we are. We can really spin and make things up and tell ourselves what's going on and who we are. But our real truth comes from living from our body and getting back into our body. And I say that because in your shadow, for example, you have 3 swords in a row. You have 1 sword up here, and you have 2 swords here. So there are a lot of swords in your reading. And swords is all about living up in your head and your mental energy. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. So I can see here there's this real drive already for you in your present situation to get back into your body. And so let's have some clarification about that. What is going on here? Well, you start off with the 10 of Wands, which is it's a card in reverse. So let's look at it. Oh, and that was the one, sorry, this is the card that is going to clarify this Empress, because they came out together. So it came out behind it. So what is it saying about the Empress here? Well, the 10 of Wands speaks about, Wands speaks about our creative energy, our taking our life in the direction we're supposed to go into. And the Wands are really, out of all the 4 suits, it's the one that is really the one that is full of activity. And that is the one, you'll see that it's the most, it tends to battle itself out, because it's really trying to move towards your purpose, your true authentic self. And that is definitely a feminine quality as well, your authenticity. And so I see here that the 10 of Wands, and it has really, and it's in reverse, but in an upright position. The 10 of Wands speaking about, look at this individual right here. He has been carrying these wands all his life. It's like you've been struggling for so long to take yourself into this direction that you want to go into for so long. And this individual has been carrying these wands for so long, and it's like, look how old he is. At the end of his life, near the end of his life, he's like, I'm tired. I'm done. I need to put this fight down now. And it's in reverse here. And so that tells me that, you're still fighting. You're not quite ready to put those wands down. But this beautiful Empress on the other side is saying, you've been struggling really hard. And I'm going to say it's a lot of mental energy struggling in your head. And it's kind of like, all right, you need another direction. You need to somehow to put your wands down and to find a different way. And that way is going to be this Empress right here. She's going to teach you how. She's going to teach you how to get back into your body so that you're not up here anymore. So you can let those wands go. You can let all that mental spinning and energy around. I mean, your last row ends with you taking a rest here from your mental energy. So I think that's where you're sitting, and those are those two cards that are coming out for you right at the beginning here. You know, no surprise that this Five of Cups has come up next for you. And the Five of Cups is really, I mean, all the fives in the deck are like this, really, it's a conflict card. It's a real inner conflict and inner conflict in your head, but they're cups. They're not swords. But and cups are all about your emotions. So let's look at what you're feeling right now. And you have these three cups right here that are spilled. And there's a real part of you that has, and I'm going to say you're probably sitting in a lot of hopelessness right now. This is a card of hopelessness. It's a card that could be, speak of depression, where you've concentrated on these three cups for too long now. And, we can sit up in our head for a long time, and it can spin and spin and spin. But, when we do decide and make the decision to get back into our body, that's when we're able to look at these other two cups that are still standing right here. That's when we're going to be able to see that bridge over here, that silver lining. And that's when you're going to be able to see, when you look up right here, when you lift your head up, you're going to be able to see that water that's flowing. And anytime there's water flowing in any of these cards, it refers to emotions. And that's when you're going to get your emotions flowing again. And so I see that you're really you're really up in your head. And, depression, believe it or not, can be a block to other emotions. And in this case, this particular individual has his head down. And so you could be dealing with a lot of shame, hopelessness. Maybe you're feeling some real loneliness as well. But you want to get to a place where you get back into your body and you can start to feel your emotions again. Start to feel those emotions that are sitting behind your depression. Like I said, believe it or not, depression is a block. It's one of our blocks. It's like anger. And they're emotions that will sit. I call them secondary emotions. And they'll sit there. They'll block you because you don't want to get to the other emotions, the tough emotions that are sitting behind it, like shame and like grief. There's a hell of a lot of grief behind depression. My throat is not participating today. I apparently have some things to say that people need to hear. Yeah. And then you've got the masculine energy that comes out from the major arcana. So very interesting that you start off with your feminine energy that the universe is trying to get you to. And then you have this masculine energy, the Emperor, that explains a lot. So the masculine energy, number 4, is a very solid, structured figure here. He's been sitting here in his chair for a long time. In fact, he's turning into this stone, right? He's the one that sits there. He's like this father-like figure, very controlling. That's our masculine side, very much in his head. And he is the one that creates these rules of society, right? He's very comfortable in his chair. And like I said, he probably hasn't moved from that because he's created these rules, these random rules of society. And we tend to live by them. We tend to live by them. So there's a very big part of you that that I can say you're very much stuck in your head, and you follow rules. Maybe you're a real rule follower and you don't want to really rock the boat here, and yet you're stuck. Yet you're very much stuck, and I'm going to use that word, in this depressive state, in this shame. And he's solid and rigid, and so I can see that you've been here for a while, and that's what it happens sometimes because we don't know how to get out of it. depression and hopelessness is a horrible place to be. And you can sit in there for months and years. And this is, this time out of your life that you've taken, and how much time you've spent sitting on that couch or laying in that bed and not being able to get out. I know, I've been here too many times, and I know now what to do when I get in that state. And so, when I get towards the end, and we're going to talk about that, but in the universe is going to give us, the tarot will also give, tarot universe, sometimes I use those words interchangeably. They will give you some advice on what to do. And here's the last card here, which is the Four of Swords, and it's in reverse, in an upright position. Again, this is the mental energy, right? Our swords are all about, if you can remember, the swords are all about mental energy, your mental body, your belief systems, those things you tell yourself that you spin on all the time. Well, this card's coming in and it's saying, you need a rest. You need to take time out. You have to find a way now to rest your mind, And you do that by getting back into your body. And you do that by learning how to ground your mind and learning how to ground into your body. But there is a real resistance here to doing it, because I think, I'm going to say, you've been in this for a while now, this state of hopelessness and depression. And it's kind of like it becomes sometimes our, I didn't realize how much hopelessness I had in my own system. And it gets to the point where I write from my hopelessness almost every day. I journal so much from why bother? Why does it matter? Nothing's going to change. And that's how I start my journaling every day. Because I got to remember, I have complex trauma. So my childhood was one of hopelessness where there was no way out. You have a way out here. You're an adult now. And you have to realize, believe it or not, and I'm going to say this before I get into your shadow, that when we are sitting in a state of hopelessness and depression, and I know you don't want to hear this, but depression is not about now. It's not. You may sit here and try to convince me why your life is just horrible right now and why your depression is about now, but it's not. It's bringing up whatever is happening to you right now is triggering something in your childhood that when you were very hopeless when you were a child and you could not do anything about it. But now you're an adult. You can do something about it. So let's go take a dive right now into your shadow and see what's coming up, because this is what's going to drive this depression that you're sitting in right now. Well, you have the 10 of... the wheel. You have the 10, the wheel of life, if you want to call it, the wheel of fortune, and the wheel of life, which I like to call it. Life is meant to turn, and circumstances and things happen to us, right? And so, and this is all about, kind of the hand that you were given, the hand that you were dealt. And sometimes this will come out as a card that says there's a major change in circumstance for you. But this is right at the front of your shadow. So it's kind of like, this is kind of like, this is what you've been dealt. So we need to look at what hand you were dealt when you were younger. What sort of situation, what sort of life did you have when you were younger? Oftentimes, if you've come from trauma, and we all have trauma on a continuum, I speak about myself here when I say I had absolutely no idea that I had complex trauma for the longest time. I knew there was something wrong with me, but I didn't know the extent of my trauma that I had. And sometimes we don't know. We tend to remember the good times and we dissociate from, the bad stuff. And so let's look at what's here right now, because, there's this card right here that I'm picking up is going to explain why. I just finished saying, and sometimes I don't know why I need to say these things, but I do. But I just finished saying to you that your depression is not about now. And now I'm going into your childhood. And what do I find? Well, the first card I find is the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And in an upright position, the Seven of Pentacles refers to this individual that has spent his entire lifetime hoeing these pentacles, right? That's spent so many hours on this. And when it's all said and done, he looks at the pile and he says, is this it? Is this it? There's got to be something more out there. Is this everything? When you were younger, because we're in your shadow, you gave up. You gave up. You didn't see something else out there for yourself. You gave up. And this is where this hopelessness is coming from your shadow. When you were a child, adolescent, you gave up. You had to. You had no choice. You know, you weren't an adult, you were a child. And, you know, when trauma happens to us, there are these huge, big emotions that are attached to it. You can't handle those. And so the only choice you have really, a lot of times, is just to give up. And this is where this is coming from, your depression right now. And then you have this devil. The devil speaks about, if it's not in your shadow, the devil talks about things that we're attached to, that we use a lot of times to deal with our pain, like our addictions. But when it's in your shadow, it talks about attachments, those things you get attached to. Well, it's not upright. It's in reverse here. And so I'm seeing here that you have issues of attachment, issues of abandonment. There were people in your life, caretakers, people around you, who weren't there to support you, who abandoned you. And that's why you gave up, because you had people that were not there to help you, not there to support you when you needed it as a child. And the Six of Swords comes out right after, and this gondolier man, I call him, he's taken these individuals, this mother, it looks like, a child, to a safer place. Because you see that they're leaving the rough waters here, and they're going to smoother waters here. And so he's taken them to a place of safety. And when I see this is a healing channel. So this card comes up and it speaks about safety right away. When you were younger, you were not in a safe place. You were not in a safe place to feel these big emotions. You didn't have people that supported you. You couldn't make those attachments. You couldn't hang on to people. People abandoned you when you were younger, and you gave up. You weren't in a safe place. King of Swords comes out here. You have 2 Swords cards now. So I'm getting into our mental energy, because this is what happens. When you are younger and you have these huge emotions to deal with, and this trauma that's taking place in this chaotic childhood, this dysfunctional family home, well, when you can't handle this as a child, you have what's called your ego self. And the kings in my deck are all the ego self. And that's the part of you that's going to come in and it's going to take over. And it's going to take over, and you're going to end up going back in your mind, in your head, in your mind. This is the King of Swords. So mental energy. And it's a part of us, the ego self, that really tries to protect us. Tries to protect us from those big emotions that we can't handle. And it pretty much dissociates us, because as soon as it takes you up in your head, it takes you out of your body. And I know this is big stuff I'm talking here, but this is I'm somebody that has, like I said, complex trauma and has been in intensive healing. And these are parts that I'm talking about. They're parts of you. I do parts therapy. And so this is what happens. Our ego self takes over and will protect you from these big emotions. And so we end up being up in our head, right? Because it's safe up here. Our emotions aren't up here. Our emotions are in our body. And the universe really wants you to get back into your body so you can start to feel these big emotions that you need to feel, that you put away when you were younger. And the next final card is the Two of Swords. It's another sword card. It's mental energy. And in this particular situation this is an individual that's trying to make a choice here. Trying to make a choice between, these 2 swords. And again, they're up in their head. right? They've got all these flowing emotions in the background. I told you about water, and there's lots of water here, and there's lots of emotions back there. But they've put their, as a child, you've put your blindfold on, and you shut off all those emotions back there, and you've remained up in your head, because this is a card of choice in an upright position. This is a card of making a decision, a card of choice. You didn't have a choice when you were younger. You had to shut it all down, because to be honest with you, as a child, if your ego self didn't come out and shut this all down for you, you probably would have died. That's how painful these emotions are and how big they are for you. And so this is where your depression's coming from. Right now, you are being triggered, and what's coming up for you is the need for you to get back into your body, and the need for you to feel those big emotions that are causing you to feel hopeless right now. Like I said, there's shame and there's grief that's sitting behind your depression. All right, this is the time that I'm going to talk about how you can enter the contest to win a free reading from me. So, first of all, when you clicked on the thumbnail, there is a picture on the front of it. And if you look at that picture, there is a restaurant on the picture, if you look closely, and the name is there. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at that restaurant. It's, I'm going to give you a clue. It's from a popular destination in Canada. And the restaurant itself is quite popular in that area. And so what I want you to do is I want you to email yellowcardinaltarot@gmail.com, and it's written on the screen. And I want you to tell me what food item this popular restaurant in a touristy area in Canada is best known for. And the food item itself is 2 words. And there's another small little clue on the picture itself. You'll see it if you look closely. So you're going to have to go back to the thumbnail that you clicked on and get a close look at it. For some of you that have been to this area, or for some of you, I know I have people out there that are actually subscribers that live in this area, believe it or not. So yeah, and that'll be your chance to win. And once you email me, I'll pick the first 5 people, and I will email you back and to let you know what you need to do from there. Good luck. So how do you begin to heal this? Where do you go? Where does the tarot want you to go with this? So we're going to start off with the 5 of Pentacles right here, and the 5 of Coins. And right behind this has this stained glass here, and it represents the church, and you see that in the Rider-Waite deck here. And this is a card of conflict again, but it's also it's a card of change, and this is going to be your row of change here for you. And I see these coins like change. There's change here, right? You've got this conflict going on, and it refers to your self-worth. It refers to not feeling good enough inside of you. And so the universe really wants you to start to get in touch with, where do these feelings come from of just not feeling good enough, feeling like a piece of shit, feeling hopeless. And this was your younger self when you were unable to make these attachments right here, where you didn't have these people to support you. If you don't have this validation and this support growing up, you do feel like you don't matter. And and this is what the universe wants you to get at. This is what's sitting behind your depression. You've got this shame that's sitting behind you there. And the beautiful Empress card comes back again for us, right? And I talked about, you've got a few cards, a couple cards here that have come out twice for you. in your first row and your last row. So you have the Empress card here, you have the Empress card here, you have the Ten of Wands here, and the Ten of Wands here. So these two cards here have come out twice. So very important cards. And here's the Empress card again saying, it's time. It's time that you get in touch with these tough emotions. It's time that you get back into your body and you learn how to ground yourself and get back into your body. And I think what I'm going to do is I want to give you, before even, you know, it's coming up here. So I think it's really important that I was going to link your September reading for you, but I really want to link grounding videos for you to get back into your body, to learn how to ground your mind in your body. That's going to teach you how to get back into your body. And also something on depression and how to deal with your depression, because I think that's really what the universe wants for you right now. And so a call to get back into your body. There's this Eight of Swords that comes out. I know right now, as I'm saying this and you're listening to this, you see no way out of this. You feel like there was no way out. When you are sitting in depression, you see no way out. Absolutely no way out. And this individual can walk away. You can walk away from this because you are an adult now. You're no longer this child that was not supported anymore. You're an adult now, and you have you to rely on first of all. You can get yourself out of this. These Ten of Wands that you could not, that you're feeling at the beginning here, you know, that have become so heavy and you don't want to look at this. I know you don't want to look at this, but the universe has turned it upwards for you to look at. Here they are again. But this time the universe, like I said, turned it upwards. It's time to look at these wands. It's time to look at this burden, these burdens that you've been carrying so long. And they're heavy. They're really, really heavy. But it's in your head. You got to get in your body and feel it. Here's the Ten of Swords. You end with mental energy. I'm going to turn this card upright. And I'm going to tell you what this is. When you were younger, all the things that people tell you about yourself, that's what's formed you. They told you things about yourself and you believed them as a young. We're sponges when we're younger. And so if people told you, you don't matter, you're a piece of shit, you're not worth it, you know, who do you think you are? All of these belief systems that we've inherited, people have given them to us, they've done you in. They've done you in. And the universe says it's time to start looking at this. It's time to start looking at this. This is what's done you in. This is what's done you in. And you need to start to look at, what is it that other people have told me about myself? That's just not true. That's just not true. And so this is an extremely powerful reading for you. Very, very deep reading this month, for a mid-month reading for you. So like I said, I'm going to leave you with the two playlists, one on grounding and one on depression. And the depression one will actually lead you to some journaling videos, which journaling is what I use to get me out of my hopelessness and my depression. So I want you to have compassion for yourself, Libra, for what you're working through. And know that this is an incredibly painful journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important journey of your life. So take care, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye.